Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to our BME 300 class. This is International Marketing. So I'm your instructor for this particular subject. I'm Sonia Elvira G. Payay. Okay, so let's start our discussion with the introduction to international marketing. So basically, when we speak of marketing, it is a universal discipline. So it is the foundation for a successful global marketing program. Okay, because if you have a sound understanding of the marketing discipline, definitely it would lead to success. So although marketing is universal, marketing practice, of course, varies from country to country. So each person and each country is definitely unique. This reality of differences means that we cannot always directly apply experience from one country to another. So if customers or competitors or channels of distribution and available media are different, it may be necessary to change our marketing plan. So when we speak of marketing, it is the process of focusing the resources and objectives of an organization on environmental opportunities and needs. So the first and most fundamental fact about marketing is that it is a universal discipline. So marketing is basically a set of concepts, tools, theories, practices, and procedures, okay, and experiences. So together, these elements constitute a teachable and learnable body of knowledge. Okay, moving on. So let's talk about the three principles of marketing. So the essence of marketing can be summarized in three great principles. So the first, okay, identifies the purpose and task of marketing. So the second, okay, the completive reality of marketing. And of course, the third would be the principle for achieving the first two. So we have here the first, customer value and the value equation. The second would be a competitive or differential advantage. And the third one would be your focus. Okay. So companies with a cost advantage can use price as a competitive weapon. Why? Because we're talking about your customer value and the value equation. So the task of marketing is basically to create customer value. So that is when we speak of your customer value, okay, we're talking about the value that you create that should be greater, okay, than your competitors. So expanding or improving products or services benefits, okay, by reducing the price. As I mentioned earlier, your price could be your competitive weapon, or by a combination of these elements that can increase value for customers. So when we speak of your customer value, remember in your marketing, we're talking about the benefit that the customers would receive, okay, in exchange of the product or the service that they receive in exchange of their money. So there should be an equal benefit, okay, with the value of their money. So there you go. So knowledge of the customer combined with innovation and creativity can lead to total offering that offers superior customer value. So if the benefits are strong enough and valued enough by customers, rather, a company does not need to be the low price competitor to win their customers. Okay, so the next principle of marketing would be your competitive or differential advantage. So this second great principle of marketing is competitive advantage. Okay, so when we speak of your competitive advantage, it is a total offer vis-a-vis relevant competition that is more attractive to customers. So when we speak of your competitive advantage, something that the company offers, okay, that would outdone or outdo their competitors, diba? Your brand name could be your competitive advantage. Your excellent customer service could be your competitive advantage. Okay, something that sometimes the customers cannot copy. It could serve as your competitive advantage. Okay, so the advantage can exist in any element of the company's product. Could be the product, okay, where the value, okay, perceived benefits, okay, or the value and the perceived benefits less than the perceived cost. Okay, so for example, maybe switching cost, which could result to the price. So the price, okay, the advertising and the point of sale promotion or the distribution of the product could be a competitive advantage of the company. So one of the most powerful strategies for penetrating a new national market is to offer superior product at a lower price. So the price advantage will immediately attract customers' attention. And those customers who purchase the product, okay, the superior quality will make an impression. Yan. So competitive advantage or differential advantage. Next is, of course, your focus. So this is the third marketing principle. Focus or concentration. So when we speak of focus, we're talking about having a clear focus on customer needs, okay, and wants. So focus is required to succeed in the task of creating customer value at a competitive advantage. So all great enterprise, large and small, is successful because they have understood and applied this great principle. So as I mentioned earlier, a clear focus on customer needs and wants and on the competitive offer is required to mobilize the effort needed to maintain a differential advantage. So this can only be accomplished by focusing or concentrating your resources and efforts on customer needs and wants. So in business, you have to always determine the needs and wants of your customers and knowing how to deliver the product or service or services that would meet the needs and wants of your customers. So this is an example, your IBM. Okay, so IBM company basically succeeded and became a great company because it was more clearly focused on customer needs and wants than any other company in the emerging data processing industry. Okay, so this is an example. All right, now let's talk about your international marketing. So in general, when we speak of marketing, marketing is basically the activity or set of institutions and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large, according to the definition of your AMA or your American Marketing Association. In short, a very short definition of marketing is that fulfilling or successfully fulfilling the needs and wants of your customers profitably. Diba? So when we speak of your international marketing, it basically talks about the performance of business activities that direct the flow of a company's goods and services to consumers or users in more than one nation, okay, for a profit. There. So international marketing is the multinational process of planning and executing the conception, pricing, promotion, and distribution of ideas, goods, and services to create exchanges that satisfy individual and organizational objectives. All right. So the only definition of marketing or domestic marketing and international marketing is that the marketing activities take place in more than one country. That is for your international marketing. So basically, the goal of a business is to make profit. Okay, by promoting, pricing, and distributing products for which, of course, there is a market. So if this is the case, okay, so what could be the difference between domestic and international marketing? So basically the answer lies not with the different concepts of marketing, but of course with the environment. Okay, so it's with the environment within which marketing plans must be implemented. Okay, there you go. All right, moving on. So let's try now to distinguish your domestic marketing and international marketers, okay, tasks. So domestic marketing is basically concerned with the marketing practices within a marketer's home country. So from the perspective of domestic marketing, marketing methods used outside the home country are foreign marketing. So the international marketer's tasks for foreign or international marketing is more complicated than that of the domestic marketer. Why? Because the international marketer must deal with at least two levels of uncontrollable or uncertainty instead of one. So uncertainty is created by the uncontrollable elements of all business environment. So each foreign country in which a company operates adds its own unique set of uncontrollables. So what are we talking about? Let's discuss your uncontrollables. Okay, so in this figure, okay, let's see, wait, hold on, sorry. So basically, this figure illustrates the total environment of an international marketer. So the inner circle, okay, inner circle here depicts the controllable elements that constitute a marketer's decision area. So these are controllables. So the second circle, okay, encompasses those environmental elements at home that have some effect on foreign operation decisions. And of course, the outer circles represent the elements of the foreign environment for each foreign market within which the marketer operates. So as the outer circle illustrates, each foreign market in which the company does business, okay, can present separate problems involving some or all of the uncontrollable elements. So thus, the more foreign markets in which a company operates, the greater the possible variety of foreign environmental uncontrollables with which to contend. So frequently, a solution to the problem in a country market is not applicable, or so in a country market A, for example, is not applicable to the problem in a country market B. Okay, there you go. All right. So when we speak of your marketing controllables, so the successful manager constructs a marketing program designed for optimal adjustment to the uncertainty of the business climate. So assuming the necessary overall corporate resources, the marketing manager would of course blend their price, product promotion, and channels of distribution activities to capitalize on anticipated demand. This is for the controllables. So the inner circle represents the area under the control of the marketing manager. Okay, the controllable elements can be altered, of course, in the long run and usually in the short run to adjust to the changing marketing or market conditions or corporate objectives. So when we say controllables, these are the factors, okay, that could be controlled by the business or the marketing manager. Like, for example, the price of the product, or the promotion of the product, or the channel of distribution, including the product itself. So this could be controlled, or this could be managed, okay, by the marketing manager. So they could blend the price, promotion, okay, or maybe channel of distribution activities so that they could capitalize on the anticipated demand of the customers. Okay, so the outer circles, on the other hand, surrounding your market controllables, represent the level of uncertainty. So why is it uncertain? Because these are the things that cannot be controlled by a manager or the marketing manager. So these are external environments of the business. So although the marketer can blend a marketing mix from the controllable elements, the uncontrollables are precisely that, and there must be active adaptation. So you have to adapt to the uncontrollables. Like, for example, in terms of your economic climate. So if, for example, the economy of a certain country is not that high, okay, you might have to adjust your price, the price of your product. Diba? So there you go, adaptation. These are the elements that are outside the control of the managers but need to be handled. So the effort of adaptation in terms of your marketing mix would determine the ultimate outcome of your marketing enterprise. Okay, there you go. All right, now let's talk about your domestic controllables. So this is basically the second circle, okay, representing the domestic environment, includes home country elements that are outside the control of the manager and that can have a direct cultural effect on the success of a foreign venture. It could include your political forces, legal forces, and economic climate. So these are uncontrollables. So in doing business, for example, a political decision involving foreign policy can have a direct effect on a firm's international marketing success. Okay. So, for example, most Western governments impose restrictions on trade with South Africa to protest about apartheid. In this case, the international marketing programs of such companies such as Shell, IBM, and British Petroleum were restricted by domestic uncontrollables. Okay, so conversely though, positive effect could occur when there are changes in foreign policy and countries are given favored treatment, such as where the case when South Africa abolished, okay, apartheid, and the embargo was lifted. And when the Western government decided to encourage trade with Libya, okay, as a reward for not pursuing weapons of mass destruction. So in both cases, opportunities were created for international companies. Okay, there you go. All right, now let's talk about your foreign uncontrollables. So a business operating in its home country undoubtedly feels comfortable in forecasting the business climate and adjusting business decisions to these elements. So the process of evaluating the uncontrollable elements in international marketing program, however, often involves substantial doses of cultural, political, and economic shock. So in doing in doing international marketing, so in addition to the uncontrollable domestic element or elements, a significant source of uncertainty in the number of uncontrollable foreign business environments would be should be dealt with, okay, in doing international marketing. All right, so that's it for your controllables and uncontrollable environment. All right, now let's talk about your management orientations. Okay, so in your management orientations, we have your EPRG. So we're talking about ethnocentric, polycentric, regiocentric, and geocentric orientations. First, let's discuss your ethnocentric orientation. So when we speak of your ethnocentric orientation, we're talking about an orientation associated with attitude of arrogance or assumption, okay, of national superiority. So ethnocentric companies who conduct business outside the country can be described as international companies. They adhere to the notion that the products that succeed in the home country are superior. So this point of view leads to a standardization or extension approach to marketing based on the premise that products can be sold everywhere without adaptation. What do we mean by this? So a business would assume that if they conduct or the product that they sell in their home country, let's say for example, if they sell a product in the Philippines and Filipino people would buy the product, they would assume that if they sell this product to other countries, okay, it would also be successful. Therefore, they will not adopt anything to the country where they sell their product. They will not change anything. Okay, so sometimes this orientation is associated with the attitude of arrogance or assumption of national superiority. Okay, we have a very good example here. All right. By the way, before we go there, when we speak of standardization, so this is the extent to which each marketing mix can be executed the same way in various country market. So there is standardization if they do not change anything. Adaptation, on the other hand, okay, is the extent to which each marketing mix element can be executed in different ways in various country market. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, in terms of your ethnocentric orientation, a very good example is Nissan. So Nissan's ethnocentric orientation was quite apparent during its first few years of exporting cars and trucks to America. So basically this car here, Nissan, was designed for mild winter. So the vehicles were difficult to start in many parts of the US during the cold winter months. In northern Japan, many car owners would put blanket over the hood of the cars. Okay, so Nissan assumed that the American people would do the same thing. But sad to say, okay, American people do not usually put blankets on the hood of their cars. Diba? So, Nissan was not successful when they exported their product to the US. Okay, there. All right, so the next orientation is your polycentric orientation. So this is basically the opposite of your ethnocentrism. So the term polycentric describes management's belief or assumption that each country in which the company, okay, does business is unique. So this point of view leads to localized or adaptation approach, okay, that assumes that product must be adapted in response to different market condition. So strategic decisions are tailored to suit the culture of the country where the company operates. So this assumption lays the groundwork for each subsidiary to develop its unique business and marketing strategies in order to succeed. Okay, so this is an example. As you can see, Walmart is actually an American company. Citi is also an American company. So in the mid-1990s, Citicorp Financial Service around the world operated on a polycentric, okay, basis. So the product that they offer would be based on the host country's needs. Meaning to say, okay, even though this is an American product, but when they operate, for example, in China, they would adopt to the needs and wants of Chinese people. Similarly with Walmart, as you can see, okay, Walmart is also an American company. Okay, however, when they conduct their business in China, they even change the character of the name of their company, Walmart, okay, to Chinese character. They adopted, okay, their business based on the tastes and preferences of Chinese people where they operate their business. So they basically adopt. Okay, that is your polycentric orientation. So polycentric orientation, again, believe that each country is unique. Therefore, they have to adopt how they operate their business based on the country where they operate or where they conduct their business. Okay, so they either adopt or maybe they localize their approach in response to the different market conditions. There you go. So that is your polycentric. Let's proceed now to regiocentric orientation. So in regiocentric orientation, the firm tries to balance their own interest with the interest of its subsidiaries on a regional basis. Okay, a while back, in polycentric orientation, they adopt or maybe they localize their approach based on the country where they operate business. But when we speak of your regiocentric orientation, they try to, okay, adopt their approach in conducting their business based on regional basis. Okay, per region. Kaya siya regiocentric. Okay, so that is your regiocentric orientation. So a firm treats a region as a uniform market segment and adopts a similar marketing strategy within the region, but not across the region. Okay. All right. So regiocentric orientation management is geared to developing an integrated regional strategy. For example, okay, per region, European Union, or maybe your NAFTA, okay, your North American Free Trade Agreement. So it basically includes United States, Canada, Mexico. Yan. So for example, McDonald's strategy to not to serve pork and to slaughter animals throughout halal process is followed only in Middle East or Muslim dominated countries. That is an example of your regiocentric orientation. But in other regions, okay, so it's normal how they slaughter animals, but in Muslim countries, they have to follow a certain procedure. Yan, per region. Okay? All right, moving on to your geocentric orientation. So it views the world as a potential market and strives to develop integrated global strategy. So the company uses a global approach to decision making. When we speak of your global approach, as much as possible, okay, whatever approach they do, okay, in one country, it could be applicable to all country. Yan, global approach. So geocentric orientation, they offer global products, okay, with local variations. Yan, they combine the best features of geocentric and polycentric, okay, strategies. So headquarters redistributes profits among subsidiaries to meet capital investment and budget needs. So it is a world view. It sees the similarities and differences in markets and seek to create a global strategy that is fully responsive to local needs and wants. Okay, there you go. So geocentric orientation, they see the world as a potential market. So they strive to integrate global strategies. Okay, it is also known as a global or transnational company. It retains an association with the headquarters country. It pursues serving world market from a single country or sources globally to focus on select country markets. So it leads to a combination of perhaps extension and adaptation elements. So the ethnocentric company is basically or ethnocentric company is centralized in its management. The polycentric is decentralized, and regiocentric and geocentric companies are basically integrated on a global and on a global scale. Okay, there. So in addition to that, okay, in terms of your geocentric orientation, here are some examples. So the best managers are developed for key positions anywhere in the world. Yan. Coca-Cola accept geocentric approach. It operates 195 countries. Okay, and 2/3 of its 31,000 work outside the USA or outside the United States of America, and mostly managed by other than Americans. And so Gillette have managers from France, Egypt, and other countries. They try now to adopt their management, okay, globally. So the ethnocentric company is centralized in its management, as I mentioned earlier, Polycentric is also decentralized, and regiocentric and geocentric, basically they operate based on global scale. Yeah, that's why in our example here, as you can see, Coca-Cola and Gillette do not only have managers from the US, but they try to have managers, okay, from outside the US. Okay, yan. Okay. Transnational companies serve both global markets and utilize global supply chain. Like, for example, Gap and Toyota. So Gap is basically a global brand, sources of apparel, from low-wage countries in all parts of the world. So manufactures in India and sold in the US. Toyota is another example of a transnational company. So management is basically a combination of standardized, okay, and localized. That is adaptation. Okay. All right, so in conclusion to your EPRG framework, when we speak of your ethnocentric, okay, everything is centered on domestic market. Polycentric, so several important foreign markets exist. So basically, this is international marketing. Geocentric is composed of several large economic region. So per region siya. Basically, this is multinational marketing. And geocentric, they see the world as one large global market. So globalized or globalization naman siya. Okay. All right. So, okay. In addition to that, so in your EPRG model, okay, so these are the characteristics in terms of approach, vision, priority, okay, planning center, and structure. For ethnocentric, okay, international operations are secondary. They see themselves as superior. For polycentric, okay, they see the world as, or they see each country rather, as unique. Regiocentric, of course, they see each region naman. And then for geocentric, they see the world as one common market. For vision, in terms of vision, for ethnocentric, it's centered on domestic. Okay. For polycentric and regiocentric, each market is unique. And for geocentric, there is global vision of the world. Okay. And priority, all right, for ethnocentric, they try now to search for identical segments in foreign markets. For polycentric and geocentric, they take into consideration the differences in foreign markets. For geocentric, they try now to unify the differences in the world market. Okay, for planning center, national headquarters for ethnocentric, subsidiary in each country or region for polycentric and geocentric. Regiocentric rather. For geocentric, on the other hand, they see the world as their headquarters. In terms of structure, there is international division for ethnocentric, division for each zone for polycentric and regiocentric, and for geocentric, there is a matrix, okay, structure. So this is an example of your matrix structure. Okay, on the right is an example of your matrix structure. So a matrix organization structure, okay, where people have more than one boss. So it's a matrix. An example of those companies would be Shell, Kraft, okay, Kraft Foods, IBM, or Westinghouse. Yan. So functional and divisional chains, on the other hand, are functional and divisional chains of command are implemented simultaneously and overlay one another in the same departments. So two chains of command exist and some employees report to two bosses. That is for your matrix structure. So let's end our lecture here. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you again on my next lecture. Bye.